Okay, so you got a Dodge Ram, it's misfiring, so hesitation a little bit, you're accelerating and it looks like, a little knock once in a while, or, almost feel like a transmission, but because it's like, it'll throw your check engine light on for a second as you're accelerating and give you a little kick, then sometimes that's the ignition coil or it could be the spark plug. So, but now, how do you tell if it's the ignition coil or the spark plug? Well, the first thing you have to do is figure out which cylinder is acting up and make sure that it is a misfire. So grab your OBD2 code reader. So this one here is my Matco 1. Model number is MC200. So with this here, I cannot do ABS, but all the other codes give me the code and it'll give me a reading to it. It doesn't just give the code, it actually tells you what the code is. So after that, now I knew that it was cylinder number 3. So the first thing that you're going to do after this, like I got the video to show you which cylinder is which, but after you find that out, then I undid the ignition coil at cylinder number 3 and I exchanged it with the ignition coil at cylinder number 1, and then I went for a road test and then I read the codes again. So after this, the code had moved to cylinder number 1, so I know 100% sure that this is the ignition coil. So if I just do the spark plug, I won't fix nothing, so I have to do the ignition coil. Now, if you're going to do the ignition coil, well, you have everything off. You might as well do the spark plug in the same time. They're cheap enough, and have the cylinder all working brand new again. Now, it could be pretty costly to do all this. Like, this was $55 Canadian for the ignition coil, and that's a V8, right? So it gets expensive fast. So you can do them all at once if you want to, or you can just do one at the time. I got all the spark plug for it. I'm going to, take a couple months and just every couple of weeks buy another ignition coil and then do it all at once when I'm done. But I'll replace the one that's acting up right now. But there's no big rush to do the rest of them because everything is working good. So now the ignition coil is underneath. Most of them are underneath this cover here, but for cylinder number 1, the one that is acting up right now, it's this one just on the other side of the dipstick here. So those are two 10 mil bolt. Well, it's a socket that's 10 mil to undo those and undo this plug here, and then you can pull the whole thing out. Okay, so the first thing that we want to do here is pull this little tab up. So this is actually the little lock. There we go, it's up now. So after you move the lock up, the only thing that you have to do, you don't have to press on anything. Usually you can just grab your ends, your end, and then grab this this plug here and then move it up. But now, just for camera's sake, we're going to do it with the screwdriver. Now, if it's like this and it gets stuck, the only thing that you have to do, there's no button to push on those plug here, but sometimes the little lock that's on this tab is going to stay locked up, so you can put some pressure backwards here and it should lift up if you're wiggling it. So after we do this, now we just have to do the 210 mils. There's one on the bottom corner on the left side, and one on the top corner on the right side. After you crack them loose, you can just do it by hand. It's almost faster than using the ratchet. Now you don't have to take those bolts completely out. The new coil, the new ignition coil comes with them. Now you just slide those here out of here. So the only way that it works is that there's actually two little spring in there, and this is what makes your contact with your spark plug down here. So now we just have to remove the 2 spark plugs. So you have 2 spark plug by cylinder. So we'll put the socket in there and change your plug. So to change the spark plug, you need a 5/8 socket, and then they're pretty deep in there. So a 6-inch extension, and then your ratchet. So you might have to put in there a part there, well, the ratchet, because there's so much stuff in the way that it's hard to put all together. Now it's in the spark plug. For the front plug, the dipstick's in the way, so you can always add another small extension to your ratchet. So now if you don't have a 5/8 socket, that, or if you're like me and the thing doesn't come with the rubber to hold the spark plug in there, and the trick to do it is actually to grab this here, and then you'll stick up the 2 boots in here, and that will take your spark plug right out. Just push this in a little bit, and then when you take it out, the spark plug should come with it. I got one. If this doesn't work, what you can do is grab your socket here, and you can put a little bit of dielectric grease in there at the edge. This, we'll just coat it a little bit with our finger, put some on both side, or as many side as you can, then it's gonna should grab the spark plug out of there, and theory should get stuck in the grease. If you don't have dielectric grease, you could use regular grease to remove hardware sometime, but it's better with dielectric grease, especially for electrical like that. If there's some that stays in there, it's not a big deal. So I'm just rotating it to make sure I'm on the spark plug good. Oh, I got it. There we go. It wasn't in bad shape, but we already knew that because that wasn't the cylinder that was giving us an issue to start with, but they're due to get replaced anyway. Now when you're putting your new spark plug in, you might want to do the same thing and coat your socket again so that you don't drop them and tap the end of the rod and change the gap here, which will change how much spark you're making for your engine. And just put your new spark plug back in. Start it slow. Sometimes you even want to turn the opposite way a little bit, so until you feel that it gets free for a second, and this is just to make sure that you don't cross thread anything. Now, don't put them too tight, so after this stop, just do like maybe an 1/8 of a turn, 1/16 of a turn, and then that's tight enough. You might have to put more dielectric grease for every spark plug that you do, just to make sure that they don't end up falling on you. After you're done putting your spark plug together, now you want to put a little bit of dielectric grease at the end of the boot here. This prevents moisture from being able to get in and corrode against your spur plug. So now you can squish it like that to make sure it went all the way around. Now you can just put this back in. And like I said, the new one comes with the 2 bolts, so you're good for that. You have to play with the angle a little bit to make it slide in perfect. So after it's slide in and all the way in, you can start your bolts by hand. Now make sure that you didn't go and put your ignition coil on top of your plug here, that your plug is not behind. Now you can start the plug anytime that you want. So you can put the plug back down, and then you'll have to push the lock back down after. Same as earlier for the spur plug. When those bolts are tight, after that you just go another like 16 or 1/8 of an inch, and this is tight enough. Don't really want to over tighten anything, because you want to make sure that you can take it back out there, you don't break any bolts inside there. So now all we have to do is just go for a road test and make sure that there's no more code that's coming back. Now of course, if you have to do more than this, then you'll have to take this cover off. And then if you take that cover, in order to take that cover off, then you need to take all your air intake stuff out of there. And then this just clip on, so you just pry it up like this, and then you'll be able to just take it out after you get all this off. Alright, got the OBD2 code reader in here, and then there's no check engine light anymore on here, which actually with the misfire here, the check engine light wasn't staying on. But so when I press enter, it says there's no code. So now I'm gonna press the gas pedal a few times just to make sure, and rev the RPM high as it can go. Well, the engine will cut out, the computer cut it out at 4,000 RPM. So you can rev this. If you're driving, it'll let you go higher, but if you're just on idle, it won't let you go higher than 4,000. So I'm just gonna bring it to 4,000 a few times and make sure that the check engine light don't flash and there's no code coming back. If you have a misfire, even if it's a small one or a bad coil, it is going to show the engine light on right now. But we'll still go for a test drive just to make sure and bring the RPM higher. So no check engine light that flash, still no code. So I hope this video will help you. I know this is a little bit of a pain in the ass to do this there, but if you can do it yourself, then you'll save hundreds of dollars, right? So mechanic at the shop will charge you big bucks to do this. It'll be a little bit harder when you get in the back of the stuff here. You might need to have like a flex socket or like a flex extension, I mean, and then you'll be able to reach in there. Okay, so anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. You get lots of nice tips and tricks, and we'll see you in the next one. Time to go clean up.